All right, so this is really the recording of our class for last week. I want you guys to follow up and simply grab what I'm going to teach you, apply them with the assignment I'm going to give you. And when you are done, test it out and talk to me if you have any challenge. Okay, so let me share my screen. So back to the place. So you go to W3 School. We're actually working with JavaScript tutorial. We're going to W3 School. Let's say my screen is still loading. Let me share again. Still waiting for my screen to share. Check for PS Code Editor. All right, so I'm launching my VS Code. Please be patient. Okay, so JavaScript. So we're still working on functions. Let's go right in to work on our functions. I've explained these functions and I don't want to spend too much time on functions because Looks like functions is actually taking most of our time. And the problem I'm having is, you guys not, showing me what you have been able to practice with functions. Function is actually the starting point of your app. Using a function. Function conditions for your app to work with. So let's see. We can dive right into this. So we've treated all these let cons, operators, arithmetic assignment, data types. We're on functions. When we're doing functions, we go to objects. We touched a little bit about events, strings. We'll touch string method types and string search. We keep moving, but let us deal with this guy. Functions and function calls, okay? Then I'll drop it and go to objects. So we talk about functions, calling two arguments of a function, and then you perform two things with the functions over here. Then I explain what arguments are. You can pass more than two arguments into your functions, and you can give your function a name. When you're done creating all the arguments of your function, you can invoke your function, which is calling your function. So it says function invocation. This is where I wanted to explain to you. The code inside the function will execute when something invokes, which in bracket means call. You understand? To invoke a function means it's like an event in your Scratch app. You have to do something before the function will respond. So if you have a function like calculate area of the perimeter of a rectangle, you need to click on a button that says go. So to calculate the area of the perimeter of the rectangle, you need to know the length and the breadth. Then when you type in the length, the figure for the length, figure for the breadth, then you can click on go. So go, we invoke the function, which means call the function to run. So what happens when an event occurs, when the user clicks a button, as you can see over here, the function is invoked. Another condition where the function can be invoked or called for Java, it can be called from JavaScript directly. So you may not, if you create a button and you add a event listener to the button, that is when the function will run using this. But when you choose to run the code without putting it inside an event, which is click before the function is called, then it says it is option 2. The automatically self-invoked function. Okay, so this part is where you can write a function that is within itself and it runs automatically on its own. You don't need to how will I put it? It's like something that has the ability to call itself. All right, so It's a function in its own function. So it's a method that runs by itself when a condition is met in its own function. So let's go to the function return. When you write a function in JavaScript, it reaches a return statement. The return statement means that after the function has finished doing the calculation of the length and breadth, then it gives you back the result. So the result is what you want to pass from the function to maybe another function or send to another variable for another processing again. You understand? So I want to ask, let's add up all the perimeter of 3 rectangles. So the perimeter of rectangle 1, perimeter of rectangle 2, perimeter of rectangle 3. So the first function will run to check the area of the perimeter of a rectangle. The second function will run to check the area of perimeter of a rectangle 2. The third function will run to check the area of rectangle 3. Then area of perimeter angle 1 plus area of perimeter angle 2, area of perimeter angle 3 will not be added together to form your to give you your final result. So for each of the function, area of perimeter rectangle 1 will return its result, area of perimeter rectangle 2 will return result. So you need this keyword return inside your function to be able to get the area of a particular perimeter of a rectangle. So now you say when JavaScript reaches the return statement, the function will stop executing. If the function was invoked from a statement, JavaScript will return to execute the code after the invoking statement. Let's take this again. It says if the function was invoked from a statement, all right, which is a code, block of code, JavaScript will return to execute the code after invoking the statement. So which means there will be a pause until JavaScript checks the return, which is the area of rectangle of perimeter 1, before it can go and execute the code after that area of perimeter 1. So functions often compute a return value. That means function always gives you a result. All right, and the value and the result is the value from the calculation made. So you return the results using the return statement inside the function. So the return value, which is the return result, is returned back to the caller. You understand the caller? So whatever condition that is holding the function. So let's take a look at it. Here it says in this example, let's go try it yourself. They have a function with a paragraph statement here and an empty paragraph here. And it says, let x equals my function 4, 3. Let x equals my function 4, 3. How did they get to this point? This is my function, as you can see over here. This is where they were creating the function. And what to do with 4 and 3 has been predefined here. So they use A and B to represent whatever value that is going to be passed when the function is called. Let x is going to be the new container to store whatever for calculation is done using the function that is created down here. So what is my function going to do with every value that is passed into it? It will send the result back to my function, which is anything that is passed between A and B. So whatever value that is passed in A, whatever value that is passed in B, return it by multiplying both values. So it means that 4 and 3 will multiply each other and return. So once you use the return statement here, it means that x will now become the result of this. So you only get this if you use return. If I remove return here and I add console.log, I will see it. Or if I alert, I will see it on the screen, but it will never be registered to x as a value. the result x can never be the result of a times multiplied by b because we did not use the return statement. But the moment you use the return statement, it's saying, hey, do your calculation and give us the value. All right. So you see the value here, 12. Okay. Let's do something. Let's duplicate this function. You can try it yourself when you're taking this class. So you say my function 2. All right. So since this is for x, copy this, put it down here. Y. This time, I'm going to change this to 6 and 3. All right, so y is going to run this function, x is going to run this function. So it's going to invoke the function. This is invocation. Once you call the function name that you have here, you are invoking it. You're asking you're saying, for my function, run. So we have two functions. This is my function 2. So I created the function here, and I automatically run the function here. And when it runs, it passes the result into this y. Then, as usual, all we have to do is use the let again, let keyword, let total equals x plus y. Let total equals x plus y. Now, document.getName by id dot inner html x. I'm now going to change this to total because document.getElement by id is calling this element into JavaScript. Then the .inner HTML is this area. This area. This is the .inner HTML. So we are now going to use it. So it's going to be equal to total. All right, and total is going to be x plus y. And x is 4 multiplied by 3, as you can see down here with the return statement. And my function 2 is going to return 6 multiplied by 3, as we have done here as well. This can be anything. It doesn't need to be A and B. It can be anything. So let's run our function. So you can see we got 13. So let's do the math. Let's do the math. 6 times 3, 18. 4 multiplied by 3, 12. 18 plus 12, and that is 13. All right, so the assignment is this. For you, calculate the area of 3 rectangles using a function with 2 parameters. Using a function with 2 parameters. Calculate the area of 3 rectangles. Using a function for each. And sum them up. The return statements should be used. Full stop. So, so thank you very much, and see you in the next class. Thank you.